Systems thinking is a holistic approach to problem solving that focuses on the interconnectedness of all elements within a system, rather than analyzing individual components in isolation. It is a powerful framework for understanding complex issues in fields from business to climate change, enabling more effective and sustainable solutions by identifying underlying structures, relationships, and feedback loops that drive observable behavior. The core concept, seeing the whole system. At its core, systems thinking is a shift in mindset, a move from seeing the world as a collection of isolated parts to a web of dynamic, interrelated systems. Holism over reductionism. Traditional analytic thinking, reductionism, breaks a problem down into smaller, manageable pieces. Systems thinking, in contrast, emphasizes understanding the whole and the interactions between the pieces. A car's purpose, transportation, is a property of the whole system, not just the engine or wheels in isolation. Interconnectedness. Every component within a system influences others. A change in one area can have ripple effects throughout the entire system, often with unintended consequences that linear thinking might miss. Purpose and function. Systems exist to serve a purpose or function, which is a property of the system as a whole. All parts must be present for a system to carry out its purpose optimally. Dynamic behavior. Systems are not static, they are dynamic, and their behavior changes over time. Understanding patterns of behavior, rather than just isolated events, is crucial. Key principles and elements. Several key concepts underpin the practice of systems thinking. Interconnections and relationships. The focus is on the nature of the relationships and interdependencies among components, which define the system's overall behavior. Feedback loops. This is a central concept, describing how an output of a system circles back as an input, influencing future outputs. Reinforcing loops accelerate change in a certain direction. Example, population growth leading to more births. Balancing loops work to stabilize a system around a specific target or equilibrium. Example, a thermostat regulating room temperature. Causality. Systems thinkers identify the circular nature of cause and effect relationships, moving beyond simple A to B thinking to understand complex causality. Emergence. The system as a whole exhibits properties that its individual parts do not possess on their own. These emergent properties arise from the interactions of the components. Example, consciousness in the human brain, or a traffic jam from individual drivers. Mental models. Systems thinking requires surfacing and testing our assumptions and deeply ingrained mental models about how the world works. Our perceptions shape how we view a problem, and changing these models can expand our choices for effective action. The practice, mindset, and tools. Applying systems thinking is as much about adopting a specific mindset as using particular tools. Mindset. It requires curiosity, clarity, and the courage to look at situations more fully, resist quick conclusions, and acknowledge our own role in problems we face. It dispels the us versus them mentality by recognizing everyone is part of the same system. Tools. Systems thinkers use various tools to model and visualize complex systems. Causal loop diagrams, CLDs. These qualitative diagrams visually represent cause and effect relationships and feedback loops. Behavior over time graphs. These graphs help visualize how key variables change and interact over time, revealing patterns and trends. System dynamics modeling. This involves using software to create quantitative models that simulate how systems behave dynamically over time, allowing for the testing of different scenarios and interventions. Why it matters. In an increasingly complex and tightly interwoven world, systems thinking is a critical competency for making better decisions. It helps us to address root causes, By moving from focusing on events to identifying the underlying system structures, we can design solutions that address root causes rather than just symptoms. Anticipate consequences. Understanding feedback loops allows us to better anticipate both short-term and long-term consequences of actions, helping to avoid unintended negative outcomes. Enhance collaboration. It supports collaboration by providing a shared language and framework for diverse stakeholders to understand their interdependence within a system. Create sustainable solutions. Whether applied to public health, business strategy, or environmental challenges, systems thinking enables the creation of more effective, long-term, and sustainable solutions. By seeing the forest and the trees, systems thinking empowers us to navigate complexity and shape our future more effectively and proactively. Summary. Systems thinking is a holistic approach focusing on the interconnectedness of all elements in a system rather than analyzing components in isolation. Key principles include interconnectedness. Each component influences others with changes causing ripple effects. Purpose and function. Systems exist to serve a function that requires all parts for optimal operation. Dynamic behavior. Systems are dynamic. Understanding patterns over time is crucial. Feedback loops include reinforcing loops that drive change and balancing loops that stabilize the system. Causality. Systems thinkers recognize circular cause and effect relationships. Emergence. Systems exhibit properties not found in individual components. Mental models. Challenging assumptions helps broaden effective action choices. To practice systems thinking, one must adopt a mindset of curiosity and clarity while employing tools such as causal loop diagrams, CLDs, to visualize relationships, behavior over time graphs for trends, and system dynamics modeling for simulating behaviors. Its importance lies in addressing root causes rather than symptoms, anticipating consequences through an understanding of feedback, enhancing collaboration by establishing a shared understanding, and creating sustainable solutions across various fields.